Hello and welcome to the Alternative Sports Show, our Sports Heads edition, NFL edition. We are so excited with this one. Like we've been talking about this, working with the NFL Academy for a long period of time. But before I get into that, I'm here with my buddy, my pal, my amigo, Daniel Fleury. How are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. I can't complain. It's been a good day back in the office. So lockdown's almost ending soon. So yeah, I'm excited. For yourself?
Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously we've been missing NFL since the end of the season. So any form of NFL, especially when we talk about drafts and we talk about new talent, I'm very excited. So today we have a future big star, George Reynolds from the NFL Academy, now the University of Ottawa, GGs. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you. I'm looking forward to this.
I'm hyped because I know now. I can say I know a quarterback that's going to be in the NFL, and I can be able to get myself some free tickets in or box seats, and I can say that's my dog down there throwing that touchdown.
Yeah, that's the goal. So yeah, really a step in that direction. So just hope I can keep it going and keep working towards it.
So let's talk about the process first of all. Let's take a step back. We're going to go, talk about you joining the NFL Academy because we most of all want people to be able to follow in your footsteps and get drafted and go into American and Canadian colleges. Like I'm so excited about this. Honestly, I feel like I'm living through you at this. Like I feel like I'm getting drafted too. So tell me about the process of the NFL Academy. What did you learn? What was the steps that got you to where you are now?
Yeah, so the NFL Academy is, to put it in simple terms, is our high school. So when we look at in the States, you see players training 3-4 times a week. That's what we try to replicate here. We're trying to train as much as we can and really just create that environment where you're a big team and the only focus is football. So it was set up the year I joined. So I was the first class of the academy, and the academy, the NFL Academy, is the only one globally. So it's a great opportunity for European kids, and that's what I would really recommend. If you want to take the next steps to go into college football in America or Canada, like I've done, then this is the place for you. It has the best coaching, it has the best players, and it's where you're going to get the most competition. You're going to develop the most. So if you're trying to look to join, the tryouts are open for anyone 16 to 18 years old. You can look up the academy on social media and you'll find lots of information about it. So it's really the place you want to be at.
So tell me that the whole process about you getting drafted, like that must have been so excited for a person from England. I can't even, obviously the Americans take it for granted. It's like a process and normal steps for them to be being drafted. But you being drafted as a quarterback, that's a huge deal. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, it was really my goal from when I stepped into the academy. I always wanted to take that next step and move on and make sure I'm reaching the highest levels I possibly can. So it was actually a really complicated journey. Like when you have to, being a quarterback from Britain, you get a lot of people look down on you and say, well, can he do it as well as the Americans? Or what does this guy have that's better than someone over here? And with the pandemic as well, and not having enough game film because we really couldn't train, it was really just about trying to find a coach or a couple of coaches, a school that would just give my film a look over, give me a shot. And when I found Ottawa, I spoke to the coaches, and it really felt like home, not just the football team, but the university. It has a great atmosphere, and I got in a few calls with the coaches. We spoke back and forth. They liked my film, and they showed me around the university. And after looking at it, it just felt like the right place for me. And we got the process rolling. They started talking about bringing me in September. So yeah, it's really exciting.
That's so, honestly, it's I'm so hyped for you. So let's take a quick step back. Obviously, your dad's a friend of the show, friend of ours. Neil Reynolds from Sky Sports NFL, like he's the host. So like, tell us about like the influence from your dad and what your own, like, what's your team that you like and so forth.
Yeah, so where he's been around the sport for ages, I've grown up around the sport. From a young age, I've been around the London games. I've watched as many as the games as possible. I watch it on Sundays every night, and just being able to be around that sort of elite environment where you see at close hands the QBs training or warming up, and you hear how they think about the game. It really excited me, and that was when I decided I wanted to step into the sport. A big moment for me was when Andrew Luck, the former Colts QB, came over, and well, that's the reason I'm a Colts fan. He was a big influence to me. He came over and he set up a few QB camps, and I was lucky enough to be able to get into one or two. And from there, it just was really that I wanted to step into that sport, and being influenced by him, I knew the QB position was right for me. And then it just was about working up the levels, working up through youth football, flag football, into the national team, and then working on to the academy.
All right, that's not bad. We got to be careful, George, because Dre might be sneaky to try and be your super agent. You know what I mean? So he might try and be your agent, your QB agent for the NFL draft. But,
you know that's happening.
Yeah, you know that's definitely he's gonna definitely try his luck. But so obviously you talked about Andrew Luck, obviously being a Colts fan. I mean, which QB would you say influenced you most in terms of your game, your day-to-day game? Which QB would you say that's currently in the league, or even if that's not in the league, that you try to say you mirror your game towards?
Yeah, it really was Andrew Luck for me, because as soon as I got in the room with him and I met him, hearing him talk, it was just like the level of intelligence about the game of football was just pouring out of him. And I just tried to soak up as much of that as I could. So after that, I just kept watching him week in, week out as a Colts fan, and tried to really model my game on him, and just watching him, how he throws, how he moves, how he leads the team. It was really something that I tried to take to myself. And then when I step out on the field at the academy, that's what I try to be like. And I think he was a major influence. But if I'm talking about QBs that are in the league now, one of my favorites to watch is Deshaun Watson. I find him so entertaining, and he just looks really good in every way. So that's what I try to be like, where I'm not just a passer, but if I have to get out of the pocket, I can run and make a play.
All right, so Deshaun Watson, so you're probably going to be the new Deshaun Watson from Britain. More like,
you must have been watching this show for a long time, because this is you're speaking to Deshaun Watson's number one fan there. So as soon as you said that, Dan started to beam with happiness automatically.
He's a great QB in terms of the talent. He's probably the best QB, talented young QB. But so George, obviously you're keeping up with the news. Obviously you're going to go. The aim is to sort of hopefully go through the draft, the NFL draft. You're seeing it right now, that we're seeing a sort of a QB-rich draft in terms of at least speculations. The first top three are going to sort of take QBs, and potentially the next top 5 QBs and potentially the top 10 draft. Obviously, we talk about Trevor Lawrence, and he's sort of the bona fide number one pick for QBs. But based on from what you see, who would you say sort of the best QB in the class outside of Trevor Lawrence?
For me, I see Zach Wilson and Justin Fields as the next two. And I feel when I watch it, I see Zach Wilson is a perfect passer. His accuracy and his form is really tight. He knows what he's doing. He's smart. But for me, I love watching Justin Fields, where he played at Ohio State. His ability to move and extend plays, not just with his arm, but with his legs. That kind of athlete, he's an elite talent. I really think he's going to do well in the league.
Okay. No shout out to Mac Jones. For Mac Jones right there?
I think he'll be really good. I think he's very much a system QB, and if someone like the Patriots can pick him up, then they can utilize him really well. And I think, honestly, this draft is full of QBs who can go on and perform. And it's really, we could see this draft. We could see 6 QBs come out of this draft doing really well. And yeah, it's just about how they can transfer their skills to the next level.
So I obviously the world knows that I'm always trying to recruit Giants fans. So I'm disappointed that you're a Colts fan, you're taken already. But because no one wants to suffer like I have to. But what is your view on situations like with people like Danny Dimes? Do you feel that he's got the abilities to be able to lead the Giants in particular? Because obviously there's no more room for growth now, as people are expecting playoffs this season with obviously the pieces they put around him. But do you feel that he's got the capabilities to be able to lead the Giants?
George, before you answer that question, no one expecting Giants playoffs. So let's not lie to ourselves.
Yes, they are.
Stop lying. No one expecting Giants playoffs. But anyway, George, I'll answer the question.
You can definitely see talent in him, and he's actually a very skillful QB. He can throw the ball, and we saw last year he can run the ball as well. He surprised a lot of people with that. But as a team, you can understand that development's a long-term goal. But I feel like as a quarterback, there's extra pressure to perform. And if you go year on year not performing, there's going to be a time where the team look past you and look to people who can carry that team forward in the future. But I think he really has a chance to show people this year what he can do. And if he has a good season, he could be set to stay on that team for a long time.
So what would you say are the for people that are looking to follow in your footsteps, what are the things that they need to be able to like kind of work on if you're interested in, you're in school, you want to be a QB, it's obviously I personally think it's probably the most difficult position in sports, because you have to remember all of these plays, which I can't imagine what that's like. So tell me about what the fundamentals you have to do to be able to get to where you are now.
Yeah, what you just mentioned is one of the biggest things. It's about remembering the plays, but not just from your standpoint. You got to remember what everyone's doing. So if you don't know what your receivers are doing or what your running back's meant to be doing, then the whole play can be ruined because you might do something wrong. You might throw to the wrong guy. And so that really is the first thing. You have to be intelligent. You have to understand the game. You have to understand the defense as much as you understand your own offense. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's just one of the most important things. Being able to control the game with your mind before you actually do it with your arm. And then when it comes to your actual throwing fundamentals, I feel like accuracy is probably the most important thing as a QB, being able to put the ball in the right place. And I feel like for me, that's more important than being able to throw the ball 70 yards, because you can have a big arm, but you might not be able to put the ball in the right spaces. So it's about being able to distribute it effectively and get it to your playmakers so they can go and score.
So if you're going to sort of, as a QB, you've seen a lot of plays, you've played and you've seen and you've watched the game so well, but I guess what's the one thing that you've enjoyed? Because your dad's in the NFL, in and around the NFL, you've grown up around the sport, but what's the one thing that you yourself can say, I actually love about the game itself? Is there any one particular aspect that you can really highlight to us?
I really think it's game day. I don't think anything matches to stepping on the field at game day and being able to go out there, throw touchdowns, take some hits. It's just that competitiveness. I've never felt it in playing any other sport. And yeah, it's so much fun. And you just get that experience of standing next to your teammates, knowing that that guy's going to be blocking for you or catching your passes. It's really a team sport.
Yeah, so one of the things that I love about the game is obviously the process in college, and this part here. I love where you don't know who's going to grab what, who's going to be. Obviously we've had a lot of movements in the draft picks already, but like you mentioned a few of the quarterbacks before. Who are you really looking out for? Like, is your favorite QB? Is it Trevor Lawrence, or are you away from him? Who are you looking at?
I think everyone's really excited to see what Trevor Lawrence can do, because even from high school, we've known how much of an elite talent he is, and he's being compared to Andrew Luck as like the next big prospect. So I think everyone's really excited to see what he can do, possibly on that Jags team. And yeah, I just think anyone that's going in then top 10 picks really can influence the team. You're looking at Zach Wilson possibly going to the Jets, and that could be really exciting as well, because they've suffered with a lot of injuries, and maybe a new situation with a new quarterback could really boost that team. So yeah, I think it'll be exciting.
And just, a last one for me, because you mentioned, obviously, I think when people come into the NFL academy, they've maybe not had enough experience in regards to that. So for me, my question to you is, what made you decide for certain that you wanted to be a QB?
It was really like growing up watching the sport. I just loved the idea of playing quarterback. And I didn't actually play quarterback my first practice. When I stepped on the field, I was a receiver, because that's just where I got placed. And then it was the week before we had like a tournament of flag games that our QB was on holiday. So they just tried me out throwing the ball to see if I could do it. And well, it went pretty well. And then after that, it was really, when I watched games, it was really that position that drew me in. When I was younger, I always wanted to be that quarterback. So from there on out, it was just, that was the position I focused on.
Well, George, like honestly, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm so excited for you and in your journey. We'll be keeping an eye on you, and please make sure that we're keeping in touch. And you're telling us how you're getting on over there. One thing, there's two things I want you to promise me you're going to do. Please, can you make sure that you slide, go down early, because we don't want you getting rocked like some of these heroes, RG3 so forth. And then two, I will, can you promise me that you're going to keep your accent and not do a Jadon Sancho and start having a Canadian accent or American accent?
Yeah, don't worry about that. I'm keeping my accent. It's all good.
You see that it works over there, right?
With the sliding one,
yeah,
I'll slide when I have to. If I'm going to the goal line,
that's
and I
different.
have to score, then I'm not sliding.
Have we got a celebration? Have you got like a
discount double check?
Yeah.
Type celebration.
The dancing's not for me. I'm just gonna have to play it cool and pretend I've done that all the time.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you, buddy. Honestly, honestly, and please keep in touch, and we'll try and get you back on over there before you go big time on us. There's like 15 mics around you every time you speak. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure having you. For more NFL content, look at Alternative Sport on Instagram and vergemagazine.co.uk. We've got lots of that stuff coming up, and we've got the draft special coming up. But until then, we will catch you next time. Peace.